Alright, this is going to be a test of the Xuron nippers. As you can see here, I'm using the plate that I have labeled Xuron. This is a pair of Xuron's professional ET nippers, and we're going to be comparing these against the Tamiya set. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a few cuts here. My goal is to replicate the same angle of the cuts with the Tamiya set, so that way I have a very fair comparison of the sharpness and usability of both. So these ones here I'm going in at about a 45-degree angle. Same with these here. And this one here. I should probably work on getting these in the shot. Do this one here. And this one here. Okay. So phase 2 is neatening the nubs up. So what I'm going to do is I'll make all 6 of these cuts as parallel to the injection point as I can. And I'll do the 3 on this side. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, while the cuts for this are still fresh in my mind, I'm going to unpack my Tamiya nippers here. First time I'm using them. Okay. And I'm going to make the cuts on this mostly identical plate I have labeled here upside down as Tamiya. I'm going to be going at the same angle, more or less. There's one. And there's 2. Okay, and using the same process as the Xuron nippers, I'm just gonna make a parallel cut there, a parallel cut there, and a parallel cut here. Okay, I'll do that with the other. Alright, probably should have showed you the other one before I put it down, but okay, there's one. See the nubs? And here is the other. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at the Tamiya and the Xuron here together, and they both have very, very neat cuts. Stressing of the plastic looks to be about the same. Okay, anything. The Tamiya nippers look like they can get a little bit closer to the plastic, so that's a plus. You have less you have to shave off with your knife. But otherwise, the cut quality looks to be about the same, and what I'm basing that on is simply the amount of white you see on the dark part, because the white is indicative of the plastic stressing as it's being cut. Typically a really sharp knife or a really sharp pair of side cutters will leave very little stressing, whereas a really poor pair of side cutters, which I happen to have a test pair here, these I'm not very fond of, and I'll show you why, tend to leave very jagged edges. I'm going to show you what a not so good pair of side cutters do. Okay, here's what a really dull, poor quality side cutter will do to plastic, and you can see how the side cutter even slipped down. That's another problem that you have with really crappy side cutters. It'll slip down the nub and damage the plastic on the part. So that's what a pair of crappy side cutters will do. Now I'll neaten them up with, tell you what, I'll do one with the Xuron. I'll do the other with the Tamiya nippers. That's the Tamiya side. Yep, and that's the Xuron side. So much less stress, but you can see what the crappy side cutters did, how they dug into the plastic around here. That's something I'll have to neaten up with sandpaper after the fact. So there you go. That's my live, well, close to live demonstration of these two side cutters side by side. My opinions of them based on doing these cuts is simply that these tools are roughly equivalent in terms of cutting power. Clearly there are some size differences, so depending on whether you have large hands like mine or smaller hands, you may find one of these more comfortable than the other. There are definitely some differences in the blade size, so the Tamiyas can probably fit into smaller areas. But overall, the quality of both of these is roughly equivalent in my mind. Tools are also roughly about the same price. So really, I would encourage anyone to consider picking up either of these. You can definitely do a lot worse than either of these. So anyways, that's Good Guy Dan signing off. Thanks. Bye.